Hey guys, Dimension Master Studios here, how y'all doing? So I'm sure as you guys know, when it comes to Season 15's ending, it is considered by a lot of fans to be one of the tragic and saddest moments in the entirety of the show. I myself don't really consider Season 15's ending to be all that sad, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Well, sort of. Basically, I was just thinking about Season 15's ending, and there was just something really off when it came to the ending. I didn't know what specifically, I just knew that there was. I just wasn't sure entirely until I decided to think about things from a new angle while I was thinking of ideas for other videos. I was thinking about Season 15's ending in this way, and I realized that there was just something really big going on with this ending, not only with the ending, but with the season as a whole. I realized that there was just this big, massive thing going on, and so I just immediately knew I had to make this video talking about it. And so stick around when it comes to this theory, because it just changed my entire view of Season 15's ending, and it may just change yours too. So let's get into this whole thing. So anyway, what exactly is my theory? Well, my theory when it comes to Season 15's ending is this. I think it's entirely possible that when it comes to Seabound's ending, Nya's soul, spirit, or whatever ended up possessing Nya's body, taking her over, and that is who the ninja are really interacting with when it comes to Season 15's ending. They're not interacting with Nya, they're interacting with Nyad, the previous Master of Water. More specifically, the first ever Elemental Master of Water. And stick around because I got evidence for this theory. And when you think about Season 15 from this angle, it actually explains a lot. First off, there's Nya's powers. When it came to Season 15's ending, there were two episodes that consisted of the final battle, Nyad and the Turning of the Tides. And when it came to both of these episodes, Nya was just so strong during these episodes. Like, arguably stronger than any other character in the show. Even stronger, in my opinion, than characters like the Overlord, the First Fujitsu Master, and Lloyd with Golden Power. All three characters who, in my opinion, could be at the power level of a god in the Ninjago world, yet Nya seemingly is just stronger than all three of them. But how exactly is that possible? Like, yeah, I know when it comes to Nya, she merged with the ocean, and that would obviously give her a lot of power, but still, this seemed a bit too overpowered. Until you think about this. Remember, Nyad was also a Master of Water, so two Elemental Masters combined together in order to just do a bunch of this stuff would explain why Nya would have a whole bunch of power, because again, it's two Elemental Masters combined with the power of the ocean. That's a lot of strength to have in a fight. Second off, there's the way that Nya was acting during Season 15's finale. This is definitely something that a lot of people have talked about, and for good reason. Nya is acting really strangely during Season 15's ending, mainly just due to the fact that she basically ignores the team and seemingly doesn't even recognize them except for maybe Jay, and that's kind of it. And if this was actually Nyad who the ninja were interacting with, that makes sense. She doesn't know who the rest of the team is. And the reason why only Jay is the one who's able to basically reach out to her is because of how close Jay and Nya are to each other. Like, again, that sort of thing makes sense. Like, yeah, I know Nya does recognize the whole "that's how the cookie crumbles" thing, which was just a thing between her and her mom Maya. But remember, when it comes to Nya, and again, she would have possessed Nya, and I have a feeling like she would have been able to gain access to some of Nya's either stronger, more recent memories. In fact, we actually see this during Season 5, when Moro possesses Lloyd. Moro was able to go to Wu's tea shop, someplace that Moro has no idea about until that moment, and at the same time, he knows where the Samurai X Cave is. Again, a location that he shouldn't even know about at all. However, Lloyd does know about those locations, so it would be the exact same type of situation going on here. And again, Nya would just basically be gaining access to some of Nya's memories, but just slowly, not all at once. That does actually make sense when you think about it. And one last thing that was really interesting when it came to Season 15's ending was this. Nya's voice, it really sounded different from Nya's normal voice. For starters, Nya had an echoey effect when it came to her voice, and secondly, her voice actually sounded a bit deeper compared to how she normally talks. That was definitely something really interesting, especially when you consider a voice clip of Nya speaking from earlier on this season compared to Nya speaking now. But that's not the interesting thing about this. It's the fact that during the Season 15 penultimate episode, Nyad, right after Nya merges with the ocean for the first time, she doesn't actually have these voice effects added onto her. It's only after that moment during Season 15's actual final episode that she has these voice effects. So suggesting that Nya had actually possessed Nya sometime after the fight happened, or rather during the fight at some point, which again would make a lot of sense as to why Nya would suddenly have these effects going on with her voice. Again, she didn't have them in the beginning because Nya hadn't possessed her yet. It is pretty interesting when you think about it. So then that just leaves us with two questions. How and when would Nya have possessed Nya? And there's actually an answer to both of these. As for the how it would have happened, remember, when Nya first merged with the ocean, and again, she merged with the ocean, and after she defeated Wajira, she remained part of the ocean, but what's interesting is that she actually turned into water. Meanwhile, Nya was able to keep a physical form, like she still was made out of water and everything, but she still looked like a person. Something that did not happen with Nya. So that's an explanation as to how it would have happened, but what about the when it would have happened? And there's actually a moment that, in my opinion, is the perfect time for this to happen. It takes place during the final battle against Wajira, and specifically when Wajira uses her storm breath thing to destroy Nya when she's in the dragon form. This, in my opinion, would have been the perfect opportunity for something like this to happen. Nya is in an incredibly weakened state in this moment, and she needs to just regain her strength in order for her to actually continue on with fighting. So, either intentionally or not, this is when Nya would have been able to possess Nya and continue on the fight against Wajira. Right? It all adds up when you think about it. And so I'm sure there's one question though that probably a lot of you guys are thinking. Okay, so if Nya did in fact possess Nya's body, then why didn't she just unpossess Nya's body at the end of season 15? Or try to help the ninja get Nya back to the way she was. And here's why. I think that when it comes to Nya, and this was something intentional, and she wanted to possess Nya's body so she could actually get a physical body again. Just let me explain. Remember, when it comes to Nya, she had just kind of been existing as water after she ended up defeating Wajira all those years ago. Again, she's been existing and hasn't really been able to do anything all that much. Like, she may be able to affect some stuff potentially in the ocean. But again, with her being able to just do stuff as a whole, and again, have a body, that's something she doesn't have. And it's possible that after thousands of years of just not having a body, it's possible that when it comes to Nya, she just snapped at some point and decided that she wanted to get a physical body again. But there was one problem. She would need to actually get a physical body by getting one from another elemental master of water merging with the ocean. So I think it's also possible that when it comes to Nya, she may have put into motion everything from season 15 in order to get to this point actually. Once again, let me explain. In my opinion, a lot of the stuff that happened during season 15 came off as being a bit too convenient for the team. Like, solutions to problems honestly felt like they were almost handed to them with no real conflict. And this was something that I wasn't the biggest fan of when it came to season 15. But looking at things under this lens, actually suggesting that Nya was affecting everything, suddenly a lot of stuff actually makes sense. For starters, you have things like Calamar being able to easily gain access to the place where Wajira is. From what we know, the Tartarus Trench is very, very dangerous to get into, mainly due to the currents and the poisonous gas. Yet him and Benthamar are pretty easily able to get down in there. Or like, Calamar didn't really need Benthamar in order to get down into where Wajira was. And if this was actually Nya who was affecting this, that would explain things. Also, a lot of stuff related to Nya's powers also makes sense when you look at things. Like Nya's powers being just affected in weird ways, yet whenever she's under the ocean, she seemingly has full control of her powers again. Like, if that was Nya helping her out, that would explain things. Also, would it make sense for stuff like Nya being able to just interact with sea life almost instantly, like after she steps in the water while they're back on the island, and like she's able to talk to fish, and after like screaming into the ocean, bam, whales show up. Again, if this was actually Nya, that would make a lot of sense. And then later on, Nya just seemingly has full control of the whales, considering she's just able to tap one of them on the forehead and it's almost just instantly able to listen to her. Again, if this was actually Nya who was doing all this stuff, that would explain a lot. Now, I don't think that Nya did want to unleash Wajira, or like that is something that she didn't want to do because she knows what Wajira is capable of, but she realized that if she wanted to get a physical body, she would have to go into basically any lengths possible. So she would in fact aid out in the battle against Wajira, just trying to stop her in any way possible, but after that happened, she realized she would have needed to do things really quickly in order to just get back into the ocean without things being too suspicious. That's why she just willingly leaves the team as Nya, so that way the team doesn't really suspect anything. And again, she has to get out of there as soon as possible, otherwise people are gonna start thinking things are just off when it comes to Nya. Now, I don't think when it comes to Nya that she has any, like, cruel or malicious intents or anything. I don't think that she was, like, a villain or anything. But again, she was essentially just kind of driven crazy by years of isolation, basically, with having no real way to interact with anyone else. So again, she was just kind of desperate, basically. And I don't think she has any evil plans when it comes to her having a new physical body again. And I think it's possible that when it comes to season 16, the ninja, they're gonna realize what's going on. They're going to figure out what happened to Nya, and they realize what Nya did, so they're gonna go out and try to stop her. And Nya isn't gonna like this, considering again she just got a physical body back. She's not gonna want to just give it up almost instantly, so that could potentially turn her into some form of antagonist during season 16, actually fighting against the ninja. Ultimately, she is going to be defeated, and Nya is going to be returned back at some point. How that is going to happen, it's not entirely clear, although given the theories that Skylar may have something to do with that, that could actually be an explanation. But either way, we're just going to have to wait and see. Again, I don't think that when it comes to Nya, she had any, like, evil intentions when doing any of this stuff. Again, she was just basically kind of lonely and wanted a physical body again so she could actually interact with people again. Or, well, not really people, but rather, again, just interact with things again, others just being the ocean. And she basically had no choice in what she was doing. And again, I have a feeling like the ninja, they're going to figure out what's going on, and they are going to stop Nya and then get Nya back at some point during season 16. Probably towards like the middle or somewhere towards the end, but hey, we're just gonna have to wait and find out. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys, so tell me down below, what do you guys think? What are your guys' thoughts on this whole theory? Again, tell me down below, and I hope you guys enjoy. Later guys, this is Dimension Master Studios, signing off.